Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine when looking into someone's eyes? As if behind their charming smile or friendly demeanor lies something darker, something that makes your soul scream a warning. Evil doesn't always announce itself with fire and brimstone. It often hides in plain sight, weaving destruction in silence and tearing apart lives one calculated move at a time. But today, we're exposing it. In this video, we'll reveal the undeniable traits of a person with an evil heart and how to recognize them before it's too late. Make sure to watch until the very end, because the last trait we'll discuss could very well be the most dangerous one of all. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because understanding these truths could save your life. 1. They manipulate without remorse. Have you ever had someone in your life who made you feel as though you were constantly questioning your own reality? Someone who could twist every situation, every conversation, and even your own feelings to suit their agenda. That's what manipulation is, a cold, calculated weapon wielded by someone with an evil heart. An evil-hearted person doesn't see people as individuals with their own thoughts and emotions. No, they see people as pawns in a game they must win. They use manipulation as their strategy to maintain control, to keep you confused, and to ensure you never see their true intentions. Their tactics are subtle, often so subtle that you don't even realize you're being played until it's too late. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this. You confront someone about a problem, perhaps something they said or did that hurt you deeply. Instead of listening or apologizing, they twist the narrative entirely. Suddenly, it's not about what they did. No, now, it's about how you're being overly sensitive, how you're misunderstanding them, or even worse, how you're the one to blame. They'll say things like, "I can't believe you think I'd ever do that," or "You're overreacting as always." Sound familiar? This is gaslighting, a favorite tool of the manipulator. They make you doubt your memory, your feelings, and even your sanity. And the terrifying part? They do it with a smile. To the outside world, they seem calm, rational, even caring. But beneath that facade lies a person who thrives on your confusion and pain. Take the so-called friend who constantly sows seeds of doubt in your relationships. They'll say things like, "Are you sure your partner really loves you?" Or, "I heard them talking about you the other day and honestly it didn't sound good." They act like they're being helpful, like they're protecting you, but their real motive is to isolate you, to make you mistrust the people who truly care about you, or consider the colleague who always seems to twist every situation to their benefit. They take credit for your ideas, subtly blame you for mistakes you didn't make, and charm their way out of any accountability. They know exactly what they're doing. This isn't carelessness, it's calculated. And here's the most extreme part. They don't feel an ounce of guilt for their actions. In their mind, they're justified. Your pain, your confusion, your destruction, it's all part of their plan. To them, it's not about right or wrong. It's about winning, about maintaining control, no matter the cost to you or anyone else. This is why you need to be vigilant. Look beyond the smiles, the charm, and the sweet words. Pay attention to how they make you feel. If you're constantly questioning yourself, doubting your instincts, or feeling drained after every interaction, you're not imagining it. You're being manipulated by someone who sees your vulnerability as an opportunity. The worst part, they often convince you that you're the problem. They make you believe you're overthinking, that you're too emotional, or that you're simply wrong. And once they have you doubting yourself, they've won. Because a person who doesn't trust their own instincts is far easier to control. So what can you do? The first step is recognizing the manipulation for what it is. Call it out. Don't let them rewrite the story. Set boundaries and refuse to let them twist your reality. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and validate your feelings, because manipulation thrives in isolation. Remember this: someone with an evil heart will always try to convince you that black is white, day is night, and your feelings are invalid. Don't let them. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and most importantly, know that their manipulation is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their darkness. 2. They take pleasure in others' pain. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who seems to light up when someone else is struggling? Someone who thrives in the chaos, the arguments, and the heartbreak of others? It's unsettling, isn't it? While most of us feel a natural urge to help, to console, or to empathize with someone in pain, there are people in this world who feel something entirely different. They feel joy, they feel power, they take pleasure in the misery of others, and that's where the darkness of an evil heart truly reveals itself. Think about it for a second. Pain and suffering are moments where we are at our most vulnerable. Most people would approach those moments with kindness or care, but an evil-hearted person sees it as an opportunity. They feed on your sadness like a parasite. The chaos gives them energy, and the tears give them satisfaction. Why? Because for them, someone else's pain is a reminder that they're in control, that they have the power to hurt, to break, and to destroy. Imagine this scenario. You're at a gathering, friends, family, laughter all around. Suddenly, someone accidentally brings up a deeply personal secret about you. The room falls silent. You feel the heat rising in your face, your heart pounding in your chest, and as everyone else stumbles over how to react, you glance at the person who let it slip, and there it is, a smirk, a subtle, satisfied smirk. They pretend it was a mistake, an innocent slip of the tongue, but deep down, you know better. They wanted this. They wanted to see you squirm, to see the room shift its focus to your embarrassment. That's not carelessness. That's malice. Evil-hearted people are masters of this. They hide their intentions behind innocence or accidents. They might say, "Oh, I didn't mean to upset you," or "I thought everyone already knew." But make no mistake, everything they do is deliberate. They thrive on these moments of chaos because it puts them in a position of power. Let me give you another example. The coworker who sets you up to fail. They give you incorrect information for a project, conveniently forget to share an important email, or wait until the last minute to tell you something critical, and when you inevitably stumble, they act surprised. "Oh, I thought I told you about that," they'll say, with fake concern dripping from their voice. But behind closed doors, they're enjoying every second of your struggle. And it doesn't stop there. People like this have an uncanny ability to create drama out of thin air. They'll instigate fights between friends, subtly pit people against each other, and then sit back to watch the fireworks. They don't just want to hurt one person, they want to spread their toxicity as far as possible. Here's the most chilling part. They don't just enjoy the pain of others, they need it. It feeds their sense of superiority. It gives them validation. In their twisted minds, your suffering is proof that they're smarter, more cunning, or more in control, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep that feeling alive. But here's the thing, these people don't always operate in obvious ways. They won't always be the one shouting or making a scene. Often, they'll sit quietly in the background, planting seeds of doubt and destruction, then stepping back to watch the chaos unfold. They are experts in subtle sabotage, in creating just enough turmoil to hurt you without revealing their hand. So how do you protect yourself? First, trust your gut. If you feel like someone is taking pleasure in your pain or seems to create unnecessary drama, don't dismiss it as paranoia. Pay attention to their actions, not just their words. Do they consistently seem to be at the center of conflict? Do they always have a harmless excuse for their behavior? These are red flags you can't afford to ignore. Second, set boundaries. People like this will push as far as you let them. Don't engage in their games. Don't feed into their need for drama. And most importantly, don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you hurt. And finally, surround yourself with people who genuinely care about you. Evil thrives in isolation, but it can't survive in the light of true connection and support. When you have a strong support system, it becomes much harder for someone with a dark heart to manipulate or hurt you. So, the next time you encounter someone who seems to enjoy the suffering of others, remember this: that smirk, that false innocence, that twisted satisfaction, it's not normal. It's not harmless. It's a sign of something much darker. And the best thing you can do is walk away, protect yourself, and never let them dim your light. 3. Deceptive kindness. Kindness, when it's genuine, is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It can heal wounds, strengthen bonds, and uplift even the most broken spirits. But what happens when kindness is nothing more than a mask, a tool used to manipulate, control, and deceive? That, my friends, is where the danger lies. One of the most insidious traits of a person with an evil heart is their ability to disguise their darkness with a veil of kindness. They can appear generous, helpful, even selfless. They'll go out of their way to do things for you, to be there for you, and to make you believe they are your greatest ally. But here's the twist: their kindness is never free. It's a transaction, a calculated move to put you in their debt. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you have a neighbor who seems overly generous. They're always offering to help, whether it's fixing something in your house, running errands for you, or lending you money when you're in a tough spot. On the surface, it seems like they're just being kind. But as time goes on, you start to notice something unsettling. Every time you try to say no, they insist. Every time they do something for you, they subtly remind you of it later. And eventually, they start asking for favors in return. Favors you can't easily say no to because you feel obligated. At first, it seems harmless, but then it escalates. They guilt trip you, saying things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me." Or, "I thought we were close, I guess I was wrong." Suddenly, their kindness feels more like a trap, and you realize you're not dealing with someone who genuinely cares about you. You're dealing with someone who uses kindness as a weapon. Here's what makes this behavior so dangerous. It's nearly impossible to recognize at first. Deceptive kindness is subtle, and it preys on our natural instinct to trust people who do nice things for us. After all, why would someone who's helping us have bad intentions? That's exactly what they want you to think. They know that kindness lowers your defenses. It makes you vulnerable, and that's when they strike. Take the family member who's always there to help. They offer advice, money, or even a place to stay during tough times. But over time, their generosity starts to come with conditions. They expect you to prioritize their needs, to make decisions that benefit them, or to follow their advice without question. And when you don't, they turn the tables on you. "I did so much for you, and this is how you repay me," they'll say, making you feel like the worst person in the world. This isn't kindness. It's manipulation dressed up as generosity. Their goal isn't to help you, it's to control you, to make you feel indebted to them so they can pull the strings whenever it suits them. And it doesn't stop there. Deceptive kindness often hides even darker motives. Some people use it to gain access to your life, your secrets, and your vulnerabilities. They'll pretend to be your biggest supporter, only to use the information you've shared against you when it benefits them. They'll turn your trust into a weapon, and before you know it, you're left wondering how you ever let them get so close. The most extreme example of this: imagine someone who goes out of their way to help you through a crisis. Perhaps they're the first person to offer support during a breakup, a financial struggle, or a health scare. But instead of genuinely wanting to see you thrive, They keep you dependent on them. They subtly sabotage your attempts to move forward because your dependence gives them power. This is why deceptive kindness is so dangerous. It's not just about the favors or the guilt trips. It's about the control. These people don't want to see you stand on your own 2 feet. They want to keep you in a position where you feel like you owe them, where they can manipulate your decisions and emotions for their benefit. So how do you protect yourself? The first step is to pay attention to the patterns. True kindness comes with no strings attached. If someone's help always seems to come with expectations or hidden motives, that's a red flag. Second, trust your instincts. If you ever feel uneasy about someone's kindness, don't dismiss it. Your gut often senses manipulation before your mind can process it. And finally, learn to set boundaries. People who use kindness as a tool will push as far as you let them. Don't be afraid to say no, even if it feels uncomfortable. True kindness doesn't demand anything in return, and anyone who reacts poorly to your boundaries was never truly kind to begin with. Remember, an evil heart often hides behind a mask of generosity, but no matter how convincing their act may be, their true intentions will always reveal themselves in time. Stay vigilant, protect your peace, and never let deceptive kindness trap you in a web of control. 4. No sense of accountability. Have you ever confronted someone about their wrongdoings, only to have them twist the situation so masterfully that by the end, you're the one apologizing? You know they're in the wrong. You have the facts, the evidence, and yet, somehow, they slither out of accountability like a snake shedding its skin. That's not just frustrating, it's calculated. A person with an evil heart will go to extreme lengths to avoid accountability because admitting fault threatens the image they work so hard to create. Let's break it down. People with no sense of accountability operate on one fundamental principle: it's never their fault. No matter how clear the situation is, no matter how undeniable the evidence, they'll find a way to twist reality to suit their narrative. And they do it so convincingly that you start questioning yourself, your memory, your actions, your feelings. That's not an accident. It's their strategy. Picture this. You catch someone in a blatant lie. Maybe they've spread a rumor about you, betrayed your trust, or failed to deliver on a promise. You confront them, expecting an apology, or at least an acknowledgement of their actions. But instead of taking responsibility, they hit you with lines like, "I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this," or "It's not my fault you misunderstood." Suddenly, the focus shifts from their wrongdoing to your reaction. You're no longer talking about what they did. Now it's about how you're overreacting, how you're too sensitive. This is one of their most insidious tactics: shifting blame. They are masters of deflection, always ready with an excuse or an escape route. If you're upset, it's because you're too emotional. If their actions hurt you, it's because you misinterpreted them. If you catch them red-handed, they'll find a way to twist the narrative so convincingly that, by the end, you might actually believe it's your fault. And they don't stop there. These people will often weaponize guilt to avoid accountability. They'll say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," or "I can't believe you'd think so little of me." Instead of focusing on their behavior, you're now defending your own actions, your own feelings. This guilt-tripping isn't accidental, it's deliberate. It's designed to make you back down, to make you question your right to hold them accountable. Imagine someone who's caught cheating in a relationship. You have the messages, the proof, the undeniable evidence. When you confront them, do they admit to it? Of course not. Instead, they say things like, "Well, if you hadn't been so distant lately, I wouldn't have felt the need to talk to someone else." Or, "You're just insecure. Maybe you should work on that instead of blaming me." Not only do they refuse to take responsibility for their betrayal, but they also turn the blame onto you, making you question whether their actions were somehow your fault. This lack of accountability is not just frustrating, it's deeply destructive. It erodes trust, damages relationships, and leaves you feeling confused, hurt, and unheard. Over time, dealing with someone like this can make you doubt yourself entirely. You start to wonder, am I really overreacting? Did I do something wrong? This is exactly what they want. By avoiding accountability, they maintain control over the narrative and over you. But why do they do this? Why is admitting fault such an impossible task for them? The answer lies in their ego. People with an evil heart see admitting fault as a sign of weakness. To them, accountability is a threat to their carefully crafted image of superiority. If they admit they're wrong, they risk losing the power they hold over others. So instead, they double down, deflect, and manipulate their way out of every situation. So, how do you protect yourself from someone like this? The first step is recognizing their tactics. Pay attention to the patterns. Do they consistently deflect blame? Do they make you feel guilty for calling them out? Do they twist the narrative so convincingly that you start doubting your own reality? These are red flags that should not be ignored. Next, hold your ground. When you confront them, stay focused on their actions. Don't let them shift the conversation to your reaction or emotions. If they try to deflect, bring the focus back. For example, if they say, "It's not my fault you feel that way," respond with, "This isn't about how I feel, it's about what you did." And most importantly, set boundaries. People with no sense of accountability thrive on manipulation, but their power diminishes when you refuse to play their game. If they continue to dodge responsibility and shift blame, don't waste your energy trying to make them change. Instead, protect your peace by creating distance and surrounding yourself with people who value honesty and accountability. Remember this: a person with an evil heart will always find an excuse, always shift the blame, and always avoid responsibility. But their inability to own up to their actions is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of their own weakness and fear. Stay strong, stay grounded, and never let their refusal to take accountability make you doubt your own truth. 5. They isolate their victims. Evil thrives in silence. It thrives in control. And one of the most devastating tactics of someone with an evil heart is isolation. They don't want you to have a support system. They don't want you to have people who can stand up for you, show you the truth, or remind you of your worth. No. What they want is to cut you off from everything and everyone, to make you believe that they are the only person you can rely on, the only one who understands you. And when they've isolated you, they can manipulate your emotions, control your decisions, and completely dominate your life. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where someone you trusted, someone you cared about, slowly but surely made you feel like no one else could be trusted? They might not have said it outright, but through small, consistent actions, they began to chip away at your relationships with others. Maybe they planted seeds of doubt. Why do you even hang out with them? They don't really care about you. Or, your family just doesn't get you the way I do. At first, it might seem harmless, like they're just trying to protect you. But over time, you notice that the more you listen to them, the more isolated you become. This tactic is not accidental. It's not random. It's deliberate. People with an evil heart understand one thing very well. The more isolated you are, the easier you are to control. When they remove your support system, your friends, your family, the people who truly care about you, they make themselves the center of your world. And when that happens, they gain absolute power over you. Let's break this down further. Imagine you're in a relationship. At first, everything seems perfect. They're attentive, caring, and deeply invested in your life. But then, small changes begin to happen. Maybe they start questioning why you spend so much time with your friends. You don't need them, they say. I'm all you need. Or maybe they create conflicts with your family, subtly turning you against them. Your parents don't respect you like I do, they might claim. Slowly but surely, you start pulling away from the people who've always been there for you, thinking it's your own decision. And here's the thing, they don't stop at just isolating you physically. They'll isolate you emotionally too. They'll make you doubt the intentions of everyone around you. Your best friend is jealous of you, they might say. Or, your sister doesn't really care about what's best for you. They plant these ideas in your mind, so you start questioning everyone's motives, except theirs. Over time, this isolation leaves you in a dangerous place. You feel like they're the only person you can trust, the only person who truly understands you. And that's exactly what they want. Because once they've cut you off from your support system, they can manipulate you without interference. They can twist your emotions, control your decisions, and make you believe things that aren't true, all without anyone there to pull you back to reality. But let's take it to the extreme. Imagine someone who not only isolates you from your friends and family, but also monitors every aspect of your life. They check your phone, question where you've been, and demand constant updates on your whereabouts. They make you feel guilty for spending time with anyone else, even for thinking about it. Why would you want to hang out with them when you have me? They ask. And the worst part? They make you believe that their actions are out of love. I just care about you so much, they'll say. But this isn't love, it's control. And the deeper you fall into this isolation, the harder it becomes to see the truth. You start to doubt yourself. Maybe they're right, you think. Maybe my friends don't really care about me. Maybe my family doesn't understand me. This self-doubt is exactly what they want, because the more you question yourself, the more you depend on them. So, how do you recognize this tactic before it's too late? Pay attention to the patterns. Is someone in your life constantly trying to create conflicts between you and others? Do they make you feel guilty for maintaining your relationships? Do they act possessive, as though your time and energy belong solely to them? These are all red flags that should not be ignored. The most important thing you can do is resist the isolation. Keep your connections strong, even when someone tries to drive a wedge between you and the people who care about you. Surround yourself with those who genuinely love and support you, people who don't demand control, but who want to see you thrive. And if you find yourself already in a situation where someone has isolated you, remember this: it's not your fault. Manipulators are skilled at what they do, and breaking free can be incredibly difficult. But the first step is recognizing the truth. They don't isolate you out of love or protection. They do it to control you. An evil heart doesn't just want your attention, it wants your submission. And one of the easiest ways to achieve that is by making you believe that no one else is on your side. Don't let them win. Hold on to your relationships, your independence, and your sense of self, because once they've taken those things from you, regaining them becomes an uphill battle. Isolation is not love. It's not protection. It's a weapon used by those who seek to dominate and destroy. Stay vigilant, stay connected, and never let anyone make you believe you're alone in this world. 6. They lack genuine empathy. Have you ever come across someone who seems to say all the right words? Someone who apologizes when they hurt you, yet their actions never align with their words. They might even cry or put on a display of regret, but deep down, you know something is missing, that something is genuine empathy. At the core of an evil heart lies a void, a total absence of real human connection. And this is what makes them so dangerous. Empathy is the ability to step into someone else's shoes, to feel their pain, their joy, their struggles. It's the bond that connects us all as human beings. But someone with an evil heart, they don't have that bond. They cannot truly feel for others, no matter how much they try to mimic it. And oh, they will mimic it. They'll study the emotions of others like a script, learning how to cry on cue, say the right phrases, or act remorseful when it benefits them. But it's just that, an act. Beneath the surface, there's nothing but cold indifference. Let's dig deeper. Imagine someone who hurts you. Maybe they lie to you, betray you, or manipulate you. When you confront them, they give a performance worthy of an Oscar. They apologize profusely, perhaps even shed a tear or two. For a moment, you might even feel bad for them. But then, not long after, they do the exact same thing again. Why? Because their apology wasn't real. It wasn't rooted in genuine regret or a desire to change. It was simply a tool to regain your trust and maintain control over you. This is the hallmark of a person who lacks empathy. Their words and actions don't align. They'll tell you they're sorry, but they'll repeat the same behavior without a second thought. They'll promise to do better, but they never will, because to them, your feelings are irrelevant. They don't care about the pain they cause. They only care about how they can manipulate the situation to their advantage. Picture someone who's caught in a lie. Perhaps they've been spreading rumors about you behind your back. When confronted, they deny it at first. But when the evidence becomes undeniable, they break down. They say things like, "I didn't mean to hurt you," or "I was just feeling insecure." Maybe they even cry, making you feel like they're genuinely sorry. But here's the truth. They're not crying because they feel bad about hurting you. They're crying because they got caught. Their tears are not a reflection of remorse. They're a tactic to manipulate your emotions and make you forgive them. And the worst part, they'll do it all over again. They'll lie, betray, manipulate, because they don't feel the weight of their actions. They don't feel the pain they've caused. To them, your emotions are nothing more than a tool to be exploited. This lack of genuine empathy is what makes them so dangerous. When someone cannot connect with others on a human level, they view people as expendable. You're not a friend, a partner, or a loved one to them. You're a pawn in their game. And when you're no longer useful to them, they'll discard you without a second thought. Think about this. Have you ever known someone who seemed completely unaffected by the suffering of others? Maybe they dismissed someone's pain with comments like, "It's not a big deal," or "You're overreacting." Or maybe they even laughed at someone's misfortune, treating it as a joke instead of a tragedy. These are clear signs of a lack of empathy. And when someone lacks empathy, they lack the very essence of what makes us human. But how do they get away with it? How do they convince people they care when they're incapable of genuine connection? The answer lies in their ability to fake it. They're master actors, skilled at putting on a show to get what they want. They'll mirror the emotions of others, say all the right things, and perform gestures of kindness, not because they feel it, but because they know it's expected. For example, they might volunteer to help someone in need, but their motives are entirely selfish. Maybe they want to look good in front of others, or maybe they expect something in return. Their kindness always comes with strings attached, and if they don't get what they want, their true colors quickly show. So how do you protect yourself from someone who lacks genuine empathy? The first step is to recognize the signs. Pay attention to their patterns. Do they repeat the same hurtful behaviors despite apologizing for them? Do they dismiss your feelings or make you feel like your pain is insignificant? Do their actions contradict their words? These are all red flags that should not be ignored. Next, set boundaries. People who lack empathy will push and push, testing how much you're willing to tolerate. Don't let them cross your boundaries. If they hurt you and show no real effort to change, walk away. Remember, you deserve to be surrounded by people who value your emotions and treat you with genuine care. Finally, trust your instincts. If something feels off, if their apologies feel hollow or their actions feel calculated, listen to that inner voice. Your intuition is often your best defense against manipulation. A person who lacks genuine empathy is not just difficult to deal with, they're dangerous. Their inability to connect on a human level makes them capable of causing immense harm without a shred of remorse. Don't let their act fool you. Look beyond their words, watch their actions, and always prioritize your own emotional well-being. Because at the end of the day, you deserve more than hollow words and empty gestures. You deserve people who truly see you, feel for you, and stand by you, not people who only pretend to care when it serves their agenda. As we conclude, an evil heart hides behind charm, kindness, and sometimes even love, but the devastation they bring is all too real. Now that you know these traits, it's time to take a stand. Protect yourself, set boundaries, and never doubt your instincts when they warn you of danger. If this video opened your eyes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Together, we can spread awareness and protect ourselves from the darkness that often hides in plain sight. Stay safe, and remember, trust your gut. It rarely lies. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself and those you love.